Hey guys, so this is slope-intercept form day 2. So the first page, well 1 through 12 is kind of what we did yesterday. Okay, so the very first page, it wants you to write in slope-intercept. Okay, so we talked about slope-intercept yesterday, and slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. Okay, so on the very first part, we're just writing this stuff in. So we got y equals, and our slope is going to be 3/4 x plus, and my b is 0. And that's it. That's all we're doing. Okay, we were just writing them out yesterday, learning how to write that formula until it looks nice and pretty the way that it should. Okay. If we look at number 2, same thing. My slope is m, my y-intercept is b. So it's going to be y equals 2/3 x, and it's going to be minus 1. Okay, so it's always plus b, but in this case, we could put a plus, and then our b is -1, but we don't really write plus minus, so it's just going to be minus 1. Okay, the next section on here says write the slope-intercept form, okay, which is still y equals mx plus b. Okay, and so this is the ones that we did yesterday. So we need to figure out what it should look like. We know it's going to be something x plus something. Okay, so we always find what first? Okay, well, we always find the b first, which is going to be the y-intercept. So where does it cross the y line? Which is going to be right here. So that's at 4. So we're going to say plus 4. And then we need to find the next closest point. So I can start to follow my line down. And it looks like it's going to be all the way down here. Okay, and our slope, how do we figure that out? Well, we got to do that rise over run. Okay, so you can draw yourself a little line and we can count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be 7 over 2. And we say, well, are we going to the left or right? Is that line positive or negative? And you can look at this top arrow. Well, this top arrow is on the positive sides. So these are all positives. Okay, and these are all negatives. Well, it's on the positive side, so I know my slope should be positive. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Y equals 7 over 2x plus 4. Okay, and let's look at the next one. So same thing. And this is what we did yesterday. So y equals something x. Okay, so we find our y-intercept first, which is going to be at -2. And then we can find the next closest point. So we can find our slope. And it's going to be all the way up here. We say, well, rise over run. Well, how much do we rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we run 1. Okay, and we look and say, well, is that line positive or negative? Am I going to the left or right? Well, in this case, my top arrow is over on the negative side, so my slope should be negative. Okay, number 9. Okay, the very first thing I need to find is going to be my y-intercept. Okay, and then the next closest point. So it's going to be y equals some x, and my y-intercept is at 5. Okay, and then I already found my next closest point, so it's going to be rise over run. So we rise 2 and run 2. Okay, we say, well, is that going positive or is it going negative? Well, in this case, it's going positive, so we can leave it just like this. You could simplify that, okay? 2 over 2 is really 1, but I'm not really focusing too hard on that right now. Let's just focus on the slope before we try to like simplify and do all this extra stuff, okay? Okay, and then let's look at 11. So, same thing, we're getting slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So we got y equals something x plus something. Okay, so we find our y-intercept first, which is at -1. And then we find the next closest point. Okay, and it could be this one, or you could even do it with this one. Okay, but you always count from the lowest point to the next highest point. So even if you chose this one, that's fine, you would still rise and run. If you chose this one, you would still rise and run. Okay, so we rise 2 and we run 3, and it's positive, so it's going to stay just like this. Okay, 13 through 22 is going to be the new topic that we're doing today. Okay, so definitely pay attention if your slope should be positive or negative, and I'm going to draw you a little quick picture if you need to pause so you can draw yours. Okay, this one is going to be positive, and this one is going to be negative. Okay, so make sure that you're paying attention to the direction of the line. Okay, these are in slope-intercept form, which is great. They have to be in slope-intercept form for us to graph. Okay, so same as we always find the b first, we always graph the b first, or the y-intercept first. So we go to the y line, and we're going to plot a point at 4. Okay, and my slope in this case is 1/2, so we're going to go up 1 and over 2. Okay, and that's it. And we can draw our little line. Okay, when we look at 15, well, 15 is kind of interesting because we're not missing stuff, but kind of. Okay, so we want to graph our y-intercept first. Okay, well, there is nothing there. So if there's nothing there, it's a 0. Okay, so we still got y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we can put a point here. And our slope is -5. Well, any number, because we need rise over run, any number we can write as with a 1 under it. So we can say over 1. Okay, so we can go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need to go over 1. Okay, but I have a negative slope, so which way should my line be going? Should it be going this way, or should it be going this way? Which one is positive, which one is negative? Well, this way is positive, and this way is negative. So I want my thing to go over this way because I need a negative line. Okay, 17. I'm going to graph my y-intercept first, and my y-intercept is at -4. Okay, and I'm going to have to rise 4 and go over 5. And you really need to think, is this a positive slope or is this a negative slope? Well, it's positive, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 5. Okay, 19. Okay, what number is in front of that x? I want you to think about it. Right now it says y equals -x plus 3. Okay, well, in any x, if there's no number in front of it, it's a 1. Okay, so it's a 1 right here. And when we talk about the x, that's our slope. And so we really need a rise and a run. So it's really 1 over 1. And that looks kind of messy right now, so I'm going to rewrite it. It's going to be -1 over 1 x plus 3. And so that's what we end up getting. Okay, so we graph our intercept first, which is going to be at 3. And we know that our slope needs to be negative, so we need to think about which way should our line go. Okay, so we're definitely going to go up 1 and over 1. Okay, so we definitely go up 1. But it's a matter of which way do we go over 1. Okay, do I go over 1 up 1 over 1 this way, or up 1 over 1 this way? Do I want my line to look like that, or do I want my line to look like that? Okay, and I actually want it to be negative, so I'm going to go this way. Okay, and then let's look at 21. Okay, we graph our y-intercept first, and then we're going to graph our slope. And my slope is 1/5, so it's going to go up 1 and over 5. Okay, so tomorrow you guys will be doing point slope day 1. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully you get this finished. Please get this finished before you play on your iPad. That way maybe you can get them back one day next week. And I will see you guys on Thursday.